The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds where the sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this 29th day of August, 2024. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420POD at SeatGeek.com today to save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all their great podcasts and articles. Podcasts such as No Credentials Required, Craft Brewed Sports, and the newest addition to the Belly Up family, Sling and Profit podcast. I caught a little bit of their highlights yesterday. Everything, they had a little ad up there on their webcast, I guess you want to call it. I don't know if they call it webcasts anymore. Anyways, good to have them on. And be sure to catch tomorrow night our main guys over there at Cigar and Sports, Jim the Fan, the Van, and E-Man are having a special guest on tomorrow night over there at Cigar and Sports. So that's always a fun time listening to Jim and his unique takes over there at the Fan, the Van podcast and Cigar and Sports and Steel and Teal and it is with Jim. Anyways, it's been brought to light a lot in the last, a couple of years now, but more so in the last couple of weeks in the hockey world, but it's been going on in college sports and then youth sports and everything else. The empowerment that young athletes have compared to what it was 15, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, whatever it might be, how it used to be and it still is, don't get me wrong when I say this, but how it used to be an honor and a privilege to play pro sports and college sports and everything else. And yes, it is an honor and a privilege to play those, to play at the highest level. But it's been documented a lot as of late how kids are not taking advantage. They know the system ins and outs. They have better lawyers, better representation. They know the ways to get out of contracts. They know the ways to get traded. They're saying a lot more now than ever that the trade demands when they're young and maybe in their first contracts, or maybe not wanting to go to a certain college, or maybe want to get traded to a certain junior team, or telling junior hockey teams or whatever it might be that they're not going to be playing there anymore, or they're not going to be showing up at all. And it's just a lot of different things, a lot of different opinions on how that goes. You remember back in 1990 or 91, whenever it was, when Eric Lindros said he wasn't going to go and play with the Quebec Nordiques back in the day. Quebec Nordiques obviously became the Colorado Avalanche, and then Lindros forced his hand and he got traded to the Philadelphia Flyers, an historic deal that probably guaranteed that the Philadelphia Flyers wouldn't win for a while, and they came close. But how the Nordiques ended up going to Colorado and winning a Stanley Cup because of that trade, Forsberg and the like, and how that all panned out. But that was the first foray into a player exercising his rights, saying, basically, you know what, I'm not going there. I have no desire to go to a franchise that's not going to do anything. I have no desire to go to a franchise that is not going to win. I have no desire to go to someplace I just don't want to play. And you see that a lot nowadays in comparison to what it was forever and ever and ever. It was always, so just talking the hockey world, if you got signed to a junior hockey team, you went there and you just played. You were thankful to get a shot to play, and you just shut up. Yes, there was obviously some guys who were the higher levels, who are higher skill levels, who probably said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. You better trade my rights. It was done behind the scenes, and it was done without the internet, obviously, back then, that guys would just probably make these trade demands, and you were just none the wiser and say, see you later. And the news didn't spread like wildfire like it has now. Now you have it almost on a daily basis. You hear guys. Yesterday, Jason Robertson of the Toronto Maple Leafs, he basically said, I don't want to play here for Toronto. I'm not going to get a playing chance. I'm not going to have an opportunity to show my skill level, and then therefore I'm going to probably end up with a lesser payday on my second contract. So that I need to get out of here so I can find out a way to get paid. He wants to play, score some goals, get some points on it, goes, and then the Nashville Predators goaltender, he made the same trade demands. He says, I'm not playing here. See you later, because he was in third or fourth down the pecking order. Now he finds himself playing for the San Jose Sharks. Same deal. He says, I'm behind a couple of guys in the on the org chart of life at the Predators. I got to get out of here so I can play. I'm not going to report. That's how it is. And then you see a lot of kids in college how the transfer portal has taken over the world of college sports, how kids are going here and going there, NIL money and everything else that it is. And it's really making it hard for a lot of smaller schools to try to compete. Smaller schools couldn't compete in the first place, but now you have a lot of kids that are just jumping ship and they're finding ways to make some money elsewhere. It has helped some other schools because there are some big donors who are putting money in kids' pockets to say, yeah, come play here for 4 years and we'll see you later. But I was always against kids getting the having a say a lot of times in where they're going to play. And I maybe my tune has changed a little bit, not a lot, not 100%, but my tune has changed a little bit with the fact that there's not many professions in life where you have to work somewhere. There's not many professions in life where you can't just go across the street. If you work at, I'm going to dumb it down to nothing. If I want to work at Wendy's for $3 more an hour than I am getting at McDonald's, that's my God-given right to do so. I shouldn't have to be tied to a contract that if I can get more money elsewhere, I can do it. But I understand that in the world of professional sports, that's kind of a thing now. That if I can make more money because I only have an earning potential and earning gap in my life where I can make big dough. So I got to make as much as I can when I have the opportunity to make it. And then when I don't, when that's over, it's over, and I can't get that chance back. So I understand now a little bit more. And I'm not 100% on the player side on this because it is still an honor and a privilege. And you should just honor a contract no matter what. But I do understand when a player sees an opportunity to jump at some more money or jump at more playing time for his earning potential, he should probably jump at that opportunity and take it, because you have such a short time to make money, and you have such a short time to get it all together and get it in your pocket, because before you know it, it's over. And a lot of these careers are so short that you don't have that chance to make a lot of money in a long-term time frame. So you either making big dough, but all of a sudden your first contract you spent it. Like let's say an NHL hockey player, they get the rookie minimum or rookie max, sorry, that's $2.5 million in 3 years. Before you know it, that $2.5 million she's gone. By the time you pay the NHL taxes, your income taxes, you buy a house, a car, and a boat, and see you later, and that's it. And you pay off your parents' mortgage, and then it's gone. So your next contract's your big one. And if you don't have a chance to make some more money, and if you're not playing enough, and if you're not getting the ice time you think you deserve, because no one deserves ice time, you have to, or playing time, no one deserves that. You have to take advantage of that, but nobody deserves playing time. But if you're not getting a chance to get playing time, then what are you going to do? Because you only have X amount of time on the ice to get to score goals. There's only one puck. Football, there's only one football. If you aren't getting the chances to touches or catches or whatever it might be, then what are you going to do? How are you going to capitalize on that opportunity you got? It's another thing, because you look at these kids in the transfer portal who are in college. A lot of these kids, there's this is where it gets a little bit dicey for me, because a lot of these coaches who promise these kids the world say, you come play for me, you'll get this, you'll get that, and it's nothing for a coach to jump ship and go for more money. And I'm not going to speak that this coach or that coach, because it's every coach, when they give an opportunity to go get more money, they always do it. Brian Kelly, I think, went to LSU for more money, and on it goes. He left Notre Dame, and a lot of these kids that they like these players sign for a coach more often than not, or maybe their state, or maybe their school, but often than not, the coach who comes to their house and promises them the world, and then all of a sudden the coach leaves. Well, why can't the kid do the exact same thing? Why can't the kid who's been exploited for a lot of years, why can't he get that situation where he can put some more money in his pocket with the NIL money, and he wants to go and play somewhere else, and it just wasn't working out for him? So why can't that be a thing with the transfer portal? It's hurting the lower levels of sport, because of all the kids that are trying to come up and to try to compete against seniors. I know it's tough, because you're 17, 18 years old coming out of high school, and you're the big fish in a small pond in Havre, Montana, where it might be, and then all of a sudden you go to Washington State, and you're like, oh geez, I'm a little out of my element here, but I'm all these guys who are a little bit older and everything else. So it is a pretty spicy meatball that these guys are getting persecuted. The athletes, I'm saying, they're getting persecuted a lot for being entitled and everything else. I'm not saying they're not entitled, because there was a conversation yesterday about a 9-year-old that I could not believe that I was involved in here in the baseball world. Leopards, they were talking about a 9-year-old about wanting to play the 12-year-old. I was like, why are we wasting time on a 9-year-old? So anyways, that's another story for another day. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up, but who cares? It doesn't much matter. But it's funny to think about these guys that are changing teams, and the the power that these players have nowadays in comparison. And it gets you thinking about, like, in baseball forever and ever, playing time and everything else. And they had the time under contract and all it was. You just wonder, like, how many for team control, how many seasons were we robbed of for Aaron Judge, maybe with the New York Yankees, when Judge was, he played at college, he played his 4 years of college, then he went to the minors, and they signed a contract, and on it goes. That maybe we were robbed of a couple of years of Judge's maybe greatness. Maybe he'd be chasing some big numbers right now. Like, yes, he's the quickest to 300, but how many more years does Aaron Judge have of this? So maybe having this team control thing for a lot of years that these guys didn't get a chance to play right off the bat. It might have hurt a lot of players, but then again, it might have helped a lot of players, because you can't tell me that a kid coming out of college, especially now, we'll talk about that in half a second. You can't tell me that a kid who's 18 years old is going to be ready to go to play against a 23-year-old. Yes, there are guys who are generational talents, and yes, there are guys who have the smarts and the skill, but I don't think the strength or the knowledge about how to play that at the game to another level. Guys like Connor Bedard, yes, he's a generational talent, but you can't tell me he didn't get caught cheating a few times last season with the Chicago Blackhawks, knowing they were going to be a bottom feeder team once again. That's how he ended up on that team, and he got cheated and he got his way. Didn't have to go play as hard or play defense as much, because he's a goal scorer, he's a point getter. So going to playing in the minors isn't the worst thing ever for a lot of these guys, and being a professional is a lot different than being a college kid. Being a professional is a lot different than between a high school kid. Being a professional athlete, it takes a lot of time and effort and everything else. So you wonder if both sides have to find a bit of a compromise to make sure it works for both of them, because you have a situation where the player development is very important. So the owners and GMs are getting bang for their buck, but you also have the player who only has X amount of years to play. So there's a fine line between the two. And at the end of the day, winning is the most important thing going. Player development, like, it doesn't much matter to if a 8th round draft pick doesn't pan out. Oh well, if a 15th round Major League Baseball guy doesn't pan out, oh well. A lot of those minor league teams are just a lot of the players are just filler anyways, because they have one kid or two guys in their system they want to develop, and the rest of it doesn't even matter. So there's a fine line between who's right and who's wrong in this situation, with the empowerment of players and empowerment of the owners. And at the end of the day, the owner's probably going to win because they have the money. It's just how it is, and you're probably not going to change how it works. And you look at a lot of players nowadays, and you see it a lot. It's in all sports. Let's not kid ourselves. But these showcase tournaments that the kids just they're not competing for a team anymore. We talk about it here all the time, where kids aren't competing for a team. So learning how to win is part of the minor league systems and the college systems now, is learning how to win, because a lot of these kids, when they're from the age of, like I said yesterday or this morning, from the age of 9 o'clock, from 9 years old on, they don't know how to play for a team. They're playing for their own personal stats, their own showcase. Player development isn't a thing. It's skill development. It's everything else. It's winning doesn't matter to these guys. So it's going to the minors and winning for a team. You look at the Baltimore Orioles, how bad they were for how many years, but now those guys who struggled in the minors for a little bit, had a few years to play together, and then, you know what? We're a team here. We're a team that wants to do some winning. We're a team that wants to compete. We're a team that wants to maybe win a World Series. And look what they've done in a few short years. But now you have kids that they think that, well, I was great on this showcase team. I was great on that showcase team. I can just go here and there and play here and there, because that's what they're brought up doing. It if they don't have a chance to win somewhere, if their travel team doesn't do what they want, they just jump to another team. And that's kind of the same way with the transfer portal. But on the other hand, they have a right to go and make some money too. So it's a real spicy meatball and a real fine line about how this all going to work out and how it's all going to pan out. The player has a bit more power than they always have. They can jump around as much as they got. More so than ever. Contracts are bigger now than ever, and you also have a situation where a lot of parents have a lot more money. So a lot of these athletes, like athletes of today, they don't care. Like, you look at the Kachuk boys. Yes, they're very good hockey players, obviously, and everything else. But when they were younger, they weren't told no. They just go play where they want. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go here, because even if I don't play in the National Hockey League, I got tons of money anyways. Like, my dad's got a ton of money, so what's it matter to me? I don't give a shit. there's my first swear word at the 8:47 in the morning and 14:30 into the show today. But it's just a different generation of athletes, a different generation of sports, a different generation of everything, and everybody has their hand out. And it's too bad because I don't think sport at its like professional sports at its mid level is very good. I mean, I'll watch a baseball game no matter what. It doesn't matter to me. But sport at its highest level is way better than it's ever been. You watch the Stanley Cup Finals, those two teams, how they battle, it's a lot different compared to the regular season can kind of drag on. But that sport at its highest level is better than it's ever been. But at its mid level, it's not very good. At its bottom, at its lower levels, professional sports isn't very good. There's a lot of teams that aren't very good. There's a lot of teams that don't develop because that kids don't compete. They just don't compete because they've been allowed to just jump around from team to team and not really have to compete. And winning I'm not even going to say secondary; it's thirdary. It's really, if that's you, thirdary is not even a word, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. But there's a fine line about what's going to happen here and how it's going to all pan out. But at the end of the day, I think the owner is going to win. They're going to say, like, listen, this isn't going to work for us anymore because the third and fourth line guys are third and fourth line guys, and they're very important. Your bench guy is very important. Your third string quarterback is important, and everything else. But at the end of the day, the owners are going to win. They're going to say, "Listen, we can't do this. We're in this for a profit. We want to win. And you know what? We lost with you. We'll lose without you. Not a big deal to us, anyways. It's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out over the years and months and weeks and years to come because it's fascinating to me how players have so much more power than they used to. And maybe it was just one of those situations where the players just finally caught on and are calling the owners and the GMs. They're just calling them on it. Like why? Like, you need me as much as I need you. Because a college baseball player is a college baseball player. If you're good enough to play, you're going to play somewhere, somehow, might be. If you're a junior hockey player, you'll find a place to play. But it's changed a lot more now with money and everything else. It's just a different way of life. And some kids do get more of an opportunity because of money that their parents have, or money that their parents are willing to find. I guess is one way of putting it, because there's not a lot of I can't see there's how many teams out there, and not every parent's a millionaire. So it's going to be interesting how see it all pans out. It's interesting. It's always great to listen to people and what their thoughts are. I'm more of an owner hugger than I thought I was, but it's just that's how it is. Anyways, that's 14:20 in the morning. Make sure you guys go to SeatGeek.com. Use SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod this weekend for all your tickets. Probably do a show tonight. And then big announcement for over the weekend what we're doing with the show coming up for the foreseeable future. Anyways, good luck to Jim and E-Man tonight for their big cigar show tomorrow night on Friday. Make sure you guys tune into that, and then all our other podcast friends that we don't get a chance to talk to enough. But come September, I got to do a little more free time on my hands. We get all this stuff around the office all cleaned up and raring to go. Anyways, that's 14:20 in the morning. Be sure to what I don't even know what we say in the morning anymore. Doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. There it is. Have a good day, folks, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.